Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome to Sew with Mediva. And if you're a returning subscriber or a returning viewer, thank you for sticking to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to make this simple turtleneck gathered dress, and I made use of 3 yards of African print fabric. If this is something you're interested in, make sure to keep watching and make sure you watch till the end. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel and share to your loved ones. So let's jump right in. So I made use of 3 yards of this beautiful African print. So you need about 2.5 to 3 yards depending on your size and how full you want the gathers to appear. So I have my tape roll here, I have my ruler, my curved ruler, I have my chalk and my scissors. So this dress is divided into 3 parts. The first part is from the shoulder to the half length, then the second part is the waistband, while the third part is the gathered part of this dress. I hope you guys understand. And the full length of my dress is 38 inches. So we're going to start with the upper part, which is from the shoulder to the half length, and mine is 16 inches. Let me go ahead to cut it out and show you guys. So we're starting with the upper part of this dress, and I'm gonna have to cut out the fabric. So we're cutting the front and the back panels together, and both fabrics are in a fold of 2. The back is also in a fold of 2. So to get the wideness of fabric to fold, you're going to divide your round bust measurement by 4. So mine is 11 inches, and I added 2 extra inches to it for seam allowance and that. So I have 13 inches on fold for the front panel. And for the back, I have a zipper allowance of 1.5 inches towards the center back. Let me just go ahead to roll it out. So you can also fold it in so that you don't get confused. So I've ruled out the 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance at the back. So the first thing you want to do is to draw out a starting line at the upper part of your fabric. This is going to serve as the shoulder line. So the length of this upper part, starting from the shoulder line, for me is 16 inches, which is from my shoulder to my high waist measurement is 16 inches, and I added 1 extra inch to it for the joining allowance. So go ahead to mark your own appropriate measurement. So from that shoulder line, I'm going to come down to my nipple point, which is 11 inches. From my shoulder to my bust point is 11 inches. And then from my shoulder to my half length is 16 inches. So these are the 2 vertical measurements you're going to need for the upper part. So this is the shoulder line, the bust line, and the half length line. So on the shoulder line, go ahead to place your shoulder measurement. Remember, you're placing all your measurements on the front panel alone. So my shoulder to shoulder measurement divided by 2 is 8 inches. I'll go ahead to mark it. And then from this front panel again, I'm going to take the wideness of my neckline, which is 3 inches. So if you're on the small side, you can do 2.5 inches. And the depth of the back neckline, I made use of 1 inch because I want it very high. And the depth of the front neckline is 3 inches. So I'll go ahead to connect the necklines this way. But this is for the back. After that, I'll come over to that 8 inches point and come down by 1 inch, which is for the shoulder slope, and then connect it all the way to the neck width this way. And from that point, I'll take my round armhole measurements divided by 2, which is 8 inches, but I'm going to take out 1 inch from it because you don't want that armhole area opened. So I'm going to take 7 inches. So go ahead to just use your own appropriate measurements. So 7 inches, and then I'll connect it all the way up and extend the line this way. The next thing now is to mark the dart. So to get your dart line, go ahead to divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. So mine is 4 inches. I'm going to mark that 4 inches on the half length line and also mark it on the bust line. And then I will connect the 2 points together, forming a straight line. And on this half length line, I'm going to take 0.75 inches on both sides. But if you're on the small side, you can just do 0.5 inches, it's fine. So I'll take 0.75 inches, I'll connect it down, and then on the bust point, I'll come down by 1 inch and then go ahead to connect the points this way to create my dart. So the next thing to do is to mark the round body measurements. And on the bust line, I'm going to place my round bust measurements divided by 4, which is 11 inches, and I'll add 1.5 inches for seam allowance, making 12.5 inches. And on this waistline, my round waist measurements divided by 4 is 9 inches. I'll add 1.5 inches for that, making 10.5 inches, and then I'll add 1.5 inches for seam allowance, making 12 inches. So I'll go ahead to connect the points together this way. So after marking the darts, the next thing is to create the halter neckline. So I'm going to take my curved ruler and connect from the neck width all the way to the armhole area this way, forming a slight curve. So just use your curved ruler to connect it this way all the way to the neck width. So this is what you should have after doing that. So let's go ahead now to cut it out. So you can add half an inch allowance to this area when cutting out because of turning over with the lining. So you're going to cut out the back neckline first before you then cut out the front. So this is the back neckline, and then I'll separate it to cut out the front neckline. So after cutting out, I'll place them on each other to just mark out the dart point on the front, on the back panel as well, and then extend the lines also to the back panels. So I'm going to notch the dart on the front and the back panels before I separate them, and also extend the bust line and the half length line. So on the back panel, I'm just going to draw it out this way and then go ahead to mark the dart point. So make sure you're marking on the wrong side of your fabric. I always mark on the right side because of the teaching purpose, so that you guys can see what I'm doing clearly. So I'm gonna head to mark out the back dart. So I'm going to eliminate 0.5 inches from the zipper allowance to avoid any kind of zipper bulging at the back. So I'll come in by 0.5 inches from the closed angle, and then I'll take my ruler and just form a slant line all the way up. Go ahead to just form a slant line all the way up this way and then cut it out. So when you cut it out, you have 2 pieces of the back already. And after that, I'm also going to come up by 1 inch from the waistline. I'm going to come up by 1 inch and then blend that 1 inch all the way into the side. So by doing this, your dress is going to sit very well at the back, like it's going to have a perfect fit at the back. So this is what we have. When you open up, you're going to have 2 pieces of the back. This is what it looks like, and this is what the front looks like. At this point, if you want to turn over with a lining, you can go ahead to cut it out, but for mine, I'm not going to use a lining. I'm going to finish up that armhole area with my bias strip. So if you want a lining, just go ahead to cut out your lining and turn it over. So like I said, I'm going to use my bias strip to finish up these armhole areas. I'll repeat the same thing for the front panels, and when I'm done doing that, I'm also going to take in the dart on the wrong side of my fabric. I'll fold it in this way. This is the essence of notching your dart, and then I'll go ahead to just note the point where I want my darts to stop and stitch it all the way down. I'll repeat the same thing for the other side. I'll fold the notched part and then go ahead to stitch it all the way down. So this is going to give the bust area fitting. So I'll repeat the same thing for the back. After finishing the armhole areas, I'll take in the darts on the 2 sides. So when I'm done doing all of that, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So after I finished up the armhole area with the bias strip, this is what it looks like on the wrong side. This is what we have, and I also took in the darts, as you can see. So you can see what the bust area looks like. So this is what we have. So just go ahead now to iron it out, and I also did the same thing for the back panels. I took in the dart and also finished up the armhole area. So the back dart is 1 inch higher than the front dart. So the next thing I want to do is to join the front and back panels together. So I'm going to place them on each other, right sides facing each other this way, and then go ahead to join them using the seam allowance I added. So I added 1.5 inches seam allowance. So I'm going to use it to stitch the sides closed all the way down. I'll stitch the other side closed, and when I'm done with that, we'll move to the lower part of the dress. So after I closed up the sides and ironed it out, this is what it looks like, and this is what the wrong side looks like. The next thing I want to do is to attach the waistband to this upper bodice. So to get the length of fabric to cut out for the waistband, go ahead to measure what you have on the waistline. So start from one edge of the fabric and measure carefully what you have on the waistline. So after I measured I have about 40 inches there. So I'm going to cut a waistband that is 40 inches long and 1.5 inches high. So I'm also going to use that measurement to calculate how much fabric I'll be needing for the gathers, which is that 40 inches times 2. So I want my gathers to be times 2 of that 40 inches, which is 80 inches. Let's go ahead to cut it out. So I've gone ahead to cut out the waistband and it is 40 inches wide. And I also cut out the fabric we'll be using to form the gathers, which is times 2 of 40, that is 80 inches wide. So if you want your gathers fuller, you can multiply by 3. So for the height of the band, I have 2.5 inches here. So I'm going to use half an inch at the upper part and half an inch at the lower part to attach it to my bodice. So you can just go ahead to iron it out like the bias. So when you are done, you'll be left with 1.5 inches. And I have 2 pieces of the band, as you can see. So remember, the full length of our dress is 38 inches and we use 16 inches for the upper part and 1.5 inches for the band. So we've worked with 17.5 inches. So we're left with 20 inches for the gathered part of this dress. So for the length of my fabric now, I have 22 inches because I'm going to use half an inch to join to the waistband and then I'll fold in the remaining 1 inch at the lower part. So I'll set that one aside while we work on the waistband. The first thing you want to do is to get the midpoint of this band. So go ahead to fold the 2 waistbands into 2 this way and notch the center point. So after notching, take the upper bodies as well and fold it into 2 equal parts and then notch this midpoint on the waistline. So right now I'm going to open it up and I'll pick one of my bands. So when you're making yours, make sure to iron your hairstay on the band to give it a bit of weight. So I'm going to place the right side of the band facing the right side of my fabric this way, and then I'll merge the points where I notched together and then use my pin to just secure it. So after that, I'm going to pick the second band and put it on the wrong side of the fabric. So right now the wrong side of the fabric is facing the right side of the band, as you can see, and then merge the notched points together. Just see how I arranged mine. So merge the points. So the 3 notched points are facing each other now, and then use your pin to hold it down. So after holding it down, I'm going to go ahead and stitch the waistband to the upper bodies. So just fix it in this way. You can use your pins to just hold it down all the way to the edge and then go ahead to join them together using your allowance, whatever allowance you added. Go ahead to join them together, stitch it all the way down. So when I'm done joining together, I'll iron it out and show you guys what it looks like. So after stitching the waistband to the waistline of the upper bodies, this is what it looks like. I also went ahead to iron it out so that it lays down flat. So this is what we have. So we're going to use this half an inch fold to cover up the gathered waist. So I'm going to set this aside now while we work on the gathered part of this dress. So remember, we have cut out the fabric already. So right now, if you have a machine that can gather fabric for you, just go ahead to gather the upper part of your fabric till you are able to achieve 40 inches on the waistline. I hope you guys understand. But if you don't have a machine that can gather, you're going to just loosen the tension of your machine, bring it down to about 3 or 2, and then run a straight stitch all the way down to the edge of the fabric of the waistline. So after running the stitch, go ahead to take the thread at the back and start to pull. So you pull the thread so that your fabric begins to form gathers, and make sure you measure it intermittently so that you know when you have achieved your 40 inches gathers. So let me go ahead to do that and show you guys. So while I was creating my gathers, I thought to carry you guys along. So pick up the back thread at the back, and then just start to pull it and your fabric begins to form gathers this way. So make sure you are spreading out the gathers all the way to the other edge so that it is evenly spread out, just as you can see me doing in the video. And while you are doing it, you have to check the length that you have, if it's up to 40 inches or if it is less than 40 inches. So I checked mine and I realized that I have already gathered it less than 40 inches. So I'll have to release some of the gathers to create my 40 inches length. So right now I have gathered the band to fit into the 40 inches waistline all the way down. So you can see that I have 40 inches on the waistline already. So to join the two together, I'm going to just open up the upper bodice this way, and then I'm going to insert the waistline into the band opening. So just fix in the half an inch at the upper part, fix in half an inch into the waistband, and then go ahead to stitch it all the way down. You can use your pins to hold it down before stitching, or you can just stitch it all the way down. So when I'm done with that, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So after joining the gathered parts to it, this is what it looks like. You can see how beautiful it came out and how neat it looks. This is what we have. The next thing we want to do is to close up the back of the dress. So remember that this dress is going to have a zipper at the back. So I'm going to just fold it into two this way. I'll align the waistbands, making sure everything is aligned. And then I'll go ahead to measure where I want my zipper to stop. So my zipper is about 24 inches. So I'm going to come down from the neckline by 22 inches. And then I'll mark it. So I'm going to take that 22 inches and come in by 1.5 inches. And then I'll stitch it all the way down. When I'm done with that, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So after closing up the back, this is what it looks like. This is the zipper opening. So you can decide to attach your choker neckline before you insert the zipper. So by doing that, you will not need a button to fasten the neckline at the back. So for mine, after inserting the neckline, I had to use a button to just fasten it at the back. So go ahead to flip your fabric to the wrong side this way and just arrange it out and mark out your zipper allowance. So notice that the zipper is going to appear this way on the wrong side. So to make it easier, after marking the zipper allowance of 1.5 inches, we're going to use our pin now to hold the zipper down all the way into the zipper allowance. Just watch what I'm doing. So on that 1.5 inches mark that I drew out, I'm going to use my pin to hold my zipper this way. So notice that this is the wrong side of the zipper, as you can see. I'll fix it to the right side of the fabric this way. And when I'm done, I'm going to pick the other side of the fabric, and then I'll use my pin to also secure it all the way down. So inserting your zipper this way is going to give you a very neat finishing. So I am pinning directly on the zipper allowance line. So after pinning down, this is what it's going to look like when we sew it, and this is what the right side will look like, very neat. So right now I'll take it to my sewing machine, and then I will stitch the zipper. I'll raise the fabric up this way and stitch the zipper all the way down. So make sure you are stitching very close to the zipper teeth, and stitch it all the way down on the other side as well. So when I'm done inserting the zipper, I'll finish up the base of the dress and show you guys. So after inserting the zipper, this is what it looks like. You can see how neat it came out. So the dress is taking shape already. The next thing we want to do is to insert the choker neckline. So I'm going to turn the dress over to the front, and then I'll take my tape rule and measure what I have on the neckline. On the front neckline, I'm going to measure it. So I have about 9 inches there, and at the back I'm going to measure it as well all the way to the zipper. I have 3.5 inches on this side, and I also have 3.5 inches on this side, making a total of 7 inches. So 7 plus 9 inches, that is about 16 inches in total. So I'm going to add extra 2 inches to that 16 inches, making 18 inches, because I don't want the neckline to be too tight on me. So I added 2 extra inches to. So I'm going to cut a fabric that is 18 inches long, and then the height of my band is going to be 1 inch. Let me go ahead to cut it out and show you guys. So I cut out the fabric we're going to use to create the turtle neckline, and it's in a fold. So when you open it up, I have 3 inches, and I folded in half an inch on both sides, so I'm left with 2 inches. So when I close it up into 2, I am left with 1 inch on both sides. I hope you guys understand. And the length is now 19 inches because I'm going to use half an inch to close up on the 2 sides. So before I close it up, I'm going to reduce the length of the upper part of this fabric. So this is to prevent any form of gaping on the neckline. So towards the parts that will be on the upper side, I'm going to come in by 0.5 inches, half of an inch on both sides, and then I'll slant it all the way down this way. So when you wear your dress, the upper collar will not have any form of gaping. I hope you guys understand. So I'll slant it out and then I will cut it out this way. After cutting out, I'm going to then fold the fabric this way and then close up the sides. I'll do the same thing for the other side. When I'm done with that, I'll show you guys how to attach this collar to the neckline. So after I closed up the two sides of the collar, this is what it looks like. So the next thing to do now is to attach this collar to the neckline of the dress. So I also ironed my stay to the collar. I forgot to mention that. So go ahead to fold the collar into two and get the midpoint. Just mark the midpoint, and also fold the front neckline into two and notch the midpoint. After notching, I'm going to take the point I marked as the midpoint and then fix my front neckline into it. The point I notched on the front, I'll fix it into the midpoint of the collar this way. So you can use your pins to hold it down. I'm going to use my pin to hold down the center point, and then I'll go ahead to stitch it all the way down. I'll stitch the neckline all the way into it. Stitch it in. Let me just use my pin to hold it down. So you can use your pins to hold it down all the way to the edge and then stitch the neckline into the collar. So after I'm done doing that, I'll show you guys how to attach the back neckline to it. So guys, I've gone ahead to stitch down the front neckline into the collar opening, and this is what we have. So for the back, I'm just going to insert it into it this way, starting from the edge, and I left about 0.5 inches allowance at the edge before inserting. This is going to be where my button would be. So I'm going to fix it in this way and then go ahead to stitch it all the way down. Starting from that edge, I'll stitch it down. So that part is going to cross over at the back with the button. So I'll stitch it. So when I'm done, I'll come over to the other side and also insert, starting from the edge as well. So you have to insert from the edge so that you can have an accurate finishing. And then from that edge, I will stitch it all the way in. So inside, you can use your pins to hold this down so that you don't encounter any kind of challenge. So when I'm done stitching, I'll show you guys the finished product. So after inserting the collar to the neckline, this is what we have. This is what the back looks like. So I'm going to insert a button, so I just close it up when I'm wearing it. So but you can also fix in your zipper after you have inserted the neckline. So by doing that, your zipper will go all the way up to the neckline. So that will just take out the stress of adding button to the neckline. So with that, you just zip up all the way to the choker neckline. I hope you guys understand. But this method is not bad either. I'm just going to add my hook and eye, or I'll use a button and just close it up at the back when I wear my dress. So I hope you found this video useful and I hope you learned something new. This is what we end the video for today. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, share this video to your loved ones, and also put on a notification bell so that you're notified when I post new videos. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.